Hey, what's going on, traders? Welcome to the video. It's Chris from Verlo Trading. We're going to do a little midday market update here, as well as I'm going to talk about a few things that I've been working on, things that have been on my mind here in regards to trading and whatnot. So stick around if you enjoy this content. You might learn something, and let's get it. Leave a like on the video if you enjoy this. So the markets today, pretty active, but not nearly as active as yesterday, which was Monday, September 20th. Today is the 21st of September. And today was very light trading for me. I only took 3 trades. 2 of those were full winners. The other one was a slight scratch for about 3 points or something. And as you can see, I haven't traded much on the day. I'm only setting up about 9 points on these micros here. So we'll see if we get some volatility now into 2 o'clock if I have some time at all. I got to run over to a gig here in a little bit, but we'll see. Maybe we get a trade or two that'll pop up. I doubt it because I got to edit this video anyway. So that's what it's all about. So now we can take a look at the session, but actually before that, I wanted to kind of outline a few things that I've been, I guess, working on. The first thing I did that I think has improved my setup is I've actually optimized my PC properly, and I didn't realize that it wasn't properly optimized, in the sense that I had a lot of stuff running in the background while I was running my trading platforms. And also, believe it or not, there's a lot of settings in Windows that are not optimized by default. Windows is running a whole bunch of data collection in the background, and what that is doing is it's hogging your CPU. And if you're running a trading platform and you're trying to get live market data, well, that's gonna, increase latency. And obviously we don't want that. So what I'm gonna do for you guys is I'm gonna link you to the playlist that I watched from a YouTuber. Unfortunately, the videos are in French. However, they do have automatic translation on YouTube. So if you don't understand French, use the auto translate. But basically, if you follow these steps to optimize your Windows PC and your graphics card, you're probably going to reduce some latency on your PC, and you're going to notice it's going to be overall much snappier, especially when browsing web pages and stuff. So obviously you want to do that if you're running a trading PC. All right, so let's go over to the charts here and we'll take a look at what happened in the market. So yesterday there was definitely some fear in the markets and there was some good movement. Actually, I was trading the S&P futures for most of the morning yesterday, because when the NASDAQ is moving on average more than 10 handles, for me that volatility is a lot harder to manage risk in, and the market gets very thin. It's not very ideal for scalping unless you're willing to play those much bigger ranges. So I moved over to ES because I feel like that volatility condition was much more suitable when it's moving around 8-12 ticks at a time. So, let's look at this 15-minute chart, and basically this is what we've seen overnight. So the market rallied overnight and we've started to see some profit taking in the early morning here, and now we're kind of range bound. So this might help some traders, but basically whenever the market is opening in the priorities range, I always wait off of the opening bell. I never look to start putting on trades right off the opening bell. On an average day, I never do. And especially if the market is opening in the priorities range, I will always wait for 10-15 minutes to see how it opens, how institutions are positioning off of the open, etc. What does our opening range look like? Because as the market generates new information, it is giving new signals to traders to enter and exit trades. So that's kind of how I stay out of trouble off of the open. Now, we had a pretty relatively slow opening range. We went up to test the highs, then came out to test the lows, trading range, and we ended up testing our overnight lows. Now, there's one thing I've learned in trading is that a lot of traders are looking at these levels like overnight lows, overnight highs, and all this stuff. And it is very easy, especially if you had a plan for a trade and, for example, maybe you missed the entry on it. When the trade ends up following through, there's a high probability that there are traders going to try to chase the move. And I've been this trader before, and I've pretty much learned that the hard way a lot of times. So whenever markets are getting close to these areas, overnight lows, overnight highs, and for example 15-minute contextual zones, the market is trading into a range and it's in a very tricky spot. You don't exactly know where you should be biasing. There's indecision in the market, and from the point of view of a retail trader or someone who's just trying to work on the right side of the spread, there's a lack of clarity, so you don't actually know which side of the spread you should be working off of. And when this happens, I normally just stay away and I wait for clarity to appear. So I've made this mistake in the past where I'm starting to get all very bearish, especially as the market is approaching the overnight lows or overnight highs. In this case, today's session, we kind of sped our way right to this area. And the way it traded here really indicated that a lot of traders were going to be emotionally selling in this area. And I basically made the choice to wait it out there instead of jumping on any super bearish trades, especially as we were already in this area. And that's pretty much it. So as you can see on my chart, there's like a million lines here. Probably a few of them I have to remove right now. But basically, these are contextual zones that I place on my charts as the market generates new information. So this zone is still relevant, as well as this zone right here. I definitely take some time to do my analysis there. We're going to switch over to the S&P futures and take a look at what it looks like on a 15-minute chart. Contextually here, again, we tested those overnight lows and then rallied. So the market is bullish, I would say, from this pivot to this pivot. So this is what I would call our 15-minute demand zone. Now, different people do different types of analysis. I think the market rotates oftentimes in rotations of 15 minutes, sometimes rotations of 5 minutes. So these areas actually act as pivot points a lot of the time. So I don't trade based off these levels, but I do watch how the market trades when it comes to these areas, and they could act as a level to base my bias off of, and then when I see that order flow to confirm, it gives me a much better idea of which side of the spread I should be working off of. There's multiple factors that go into my trading, and I do think it is very important, no matter what kind of trader you are, to learn how to filter out for the right market conditions that suit your trading method. And this is where a lot of traders get it wrong. And honestly, a lot of times this happens by habit. One way I can explain this is, for example, earlier today, getting close to about noon o'clock, the market started to slow down. Now, we do not know when the market is going to become less optimal for trading, but the trader needs a way to determine when it looks like the market is now not offering any more volatility. And as soon as that happens, you need to really make the decision to stop trading. Whether you're up or down, you just have to stop. What I'm talking about when it comes to the habits thing is that oftentimes you can get into a habit of looking at a market that's moving 3 points around in NASDAQ, for example, when it's moving 3 points, and start trying to trade it. But you need to understand one thing, is that the risk to reward in this environment, when number one, the volume is lower, number two, the ranges are smaller, the risk to reward is not favorable for retail traders. And again, it depends on what you're trying to do. But for me, I find the risk to reward is not favorable. What I mean is that I have a certain sweet spot in which I know I can do business better in when I'm trading NASDAQ. When it is not in that sweet spot, I have to make the choice to stop trading it. The sooner you can make that choice, that decision to stop trading because you can see that the conditions are not optimal, well, the better off the trader is going to be, because if he's up on the day, he's going to keep those profits and not slowly start to give them back. I've been a product of this pattern many times over, where you start trading, maybe it's about 11:30 in the afternoon, maybe it's getting close to noon, and there's still some volatility, and then you take a trade and you get chopped. As soon as you get into that trade, the market kind of stops moving. The volatility you were expecting is now no longer there, and then you end up in a trade where maybe you're offside, and if you're not quick enough to get out, what ends up happening is it normally goes for your stop. From this point on, what happens is the tilt meter starts to get triggered, right? So our trader, he's had, a pretty good run in the morning, and then he's got one trade where he might have got a full stop. The first time he got stopped on the whole session, it's at noon, for example, in the middle of the session, start of lunchtime. Now, there are occurrences where our trader is going to start trying to trade the same thing again. They'll try to take the same trade again. This is where you can start going on to these bad patterns. Again, with experience, guys, you need to know what conditions favor your strategies, and simply when the market is not moving enough for you to trade it. All right, guys? So this is what I work on in my own trading to get better every single day. And that's what I said when we were around. So when we came off of this up move here around noon, there was a one trade I took here that was a great fade. And then after that, I ignored the market completely after noon. Getting close to noon, I noticed that the ranges started to contract quite a lot here. And when I start to see those ranges really getting small, I tend to stay away from the market completely. All right, guys, so I'm going to leave it there for today. If you have any questions at all about trading or about a trading platform, for example, Sierra charts, leave them in the comments below, or feel free to send me an email. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. The tag is NQ Read the Tape. All right, see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.